Hey everybody, I'm Den Haring. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to Topwater Tuesday. Today we're going to be talking about the Cordell Redfin, one of my favorite all-time baits for stripers. And we're going to have some bonus material on the Cordell Ripplin Redfin. Let's go. Okay, so Cordell Redfin, it's a minnow type lure, a minnow bait. I got a bunch of them here. They come in three primary sizes. You got this about 5.5 inch model. You got a smaller model, maybe 4 inches, and then you got a magnum model about 7 inches long. Between these three, I probably fish this 5.5 inch one 95% of the time. I don't really like the little one. I experimented with it a little last year because the alewives, the bait fish that I was fishing around were this size, but it just doesn't make that great of a wake being a smaller bait. And this is a wake bait, meaning that you throw the bait out there and you reel it back very slow, ultra slowly, so that it makes a wake on the surface. And the Redfin has a really unique action where it wiggles back and forth, but it also rolls. So it's got this rolling, wiggling action, and stripers love it. It's a really good striper bait. I've been catching stripers on this thing, on this bait for many, many years. For many years, it was the primary bait I throw. It's still, if it's not my number one bait, it's still my number two bait for stripers overall. It's just a very good bait, fishing at night, I'm talking. It's also good early morning for stripers as well. There's also a jointed model. Here's the jointed Redfin. And what I found with this is that it tends to go under the water more. It's harder to wake. It wants to dive. So the way you deal with that, and you can see if you look at that lip closely, you'll see I burned it. I actually took a lighter, melted the lip, and pushed it down. That angle, making the angle come down, makes the bait more of a wake bait. It keeps it on the surface. So you could always adjust that and have a jointed one. And this one catches fish too. I've caught quite a few fish on this over the years. So don't really fish the small one much at all. I'll fish this big one now and then when the bait fish is large, like at Nakamixon. You got the big gizzard shad and you got really big alewives. So this is not a bad bait to throw there at night fishing for stripers. So colors, when it comes to the Redfin, I like, if it's a cloudy night or a cloudy morning, I really like this Smoky Joe color. It's got a dark back. It's just got a real natural bait fish profile, and sometimes I will take some tape, some of this reflective type of tape, and put that on there and just add a little bit of reflection for fishing at night, especially if there's a little bit of moonlight or a little bit of light. The other colors I like are your blue chrome and your black chrome, black back chrome body, blue back chrome body. These are good. These are good also at night. And it's a preference thing. I tend to fish these a little more on nights that are not necessarily moonlit, but clear nights where you can see a little more light and you get a little more of that shine. I think sometimes that attracts them a little more. And then on those cloudier, darker nights, I like to fish with the Smoky Joe color. I also like this color in the Pocono Lakes. This is like a golden color with black back, like a golden shiner. And a lot of the Pocono Lakes have golden shiners, and the bass really like them. And so sometimes I'll throw this in the daytime for largemouth bass in some of those Pocono waters. Now I always upgrade the hooks on these. I use the Gamakatsu EWGs. These are size 4s. You want to make sure that the bait has good split rings. The Redfin usually comes with strong split rings, but it's important because you're going to be getting 20, 30-pound stripers on this bait if you're fishing where they are. And so you need to have strong hooks, strong hardware to get these things to the bank or to the boat. There's only one way I fish the Redfin. I throw it out there. Sometimes I'll let it settle. Sometimes I'll let it sit. Maybe I'll bop it a few times just to make it move on the surface. But the real key to attracting stripers on most nights is what I've already said. It's just a slow wake, slow rolling motion. If it's a calm night, you can see it. You can see the water waking as it goes, and sometimes you get some massive explosions. Hybrids like this too. It isn't just purebred stripers. Hybrids will eat it too, just as well. I don't like the bait to have rattles. It's just a preference of mine. I think you can get these Redfins with rattles and without. No rattles in these. No rattles in any of the ones that I fish. I don't like rattles in my topwater lures for the night fishing that I do. That's primarily because the lakes I fish are pretty heavily pressured, and I think fish get used to some of those sounds and it turns them off. So I always fish these with the 3 hooks on. This one you can see it's been eaten up some. Some of the chrome came off on that bait, but you know, some of these baits have caught quite a few fish. This one's all beat up too, but they're all good, and these colors are the best that you can use for the stripers at night. Let's talk about the Ripplin redfin a little bit. So this is a different bait, right? This is a smaller bait, and hopefully you can see this. It's got ridges, like ripples in the side. The bait is not straight. It's got ripples on it. Hopefully you can see that. And it's called a Ripplin redfin, and it comes with 3 hooks, but and this lure does work underwater. I've never fished these redfins underwater much. I just don't have confidence that they work that way. They don't look right under the water. They're meant to be wake baits. Different story with these. You can catch fish under the water with these baits. They're good for walleye. They catch stripers. They catch bass. I've caught a lot of different species on these. But I like to wake these as well, especially when the bait fish are small like this. And a lot of the bait fish like at Wallenpaupack or Beltsville are this size. So this is a good profile then. But in order to help me let it wake, I'll take the middle hook off. So normally there's 3 hooks on this. I take the middle hook off. It still fishes fine. It's balanced on the water, and that way I can make a wake bait out of it. Now I have a couple of fishing associates, acquaintances over the years. I don't know these guys very well, but you meet them at night sometimes and you get to know them a little bit. And some of the guys like to fish this bait, and one of the guys catches a lot of fish by throwing the Ripplin redfin out there and letting it sit. And he'll just let it sit out in the water while he's fishing other lures or even bait sometimes. And he's reported to me that he's caught quite a few stripers on this, hybrid stripers especially, with that method, just letting it float out there. And you know, if you look at this thing and there's a little ripple, or if it's moving at all in the water, because the bait has this ridged effect, it actually kind of looks like it's motion. So it may be an attractive feature of the Ripplin redfin. It's got that ripple in it. I guess that's why they call it the Ripplin redfin. Duh. So, but it has that rippling feature in it, and so I think that's one of the things that helps attract fish and catch the fish. And this is another bait. Like I said, I do the same thing with the redfin with this. I'll throw it out there and I'll just reel it real slow and let it wake on the surface. By the way, this is good for everything. Smallmouths, largemouths, stripers. It catches a lot of different fish, both night and day. But I like to really throw these baits for stripers at night, primarily, doing these waking or low light during the day. Low light conditions. If you've got those heavy clouds, if you have drizzle, that kind of thing, rainy conditions, early morning, late evening, that's when these baits shine. One other time to throw this redfin this is an odd thing, but it happens in a lot of the waters that I fish. It generally takes place in November when the water is cooling down, and it's usually mid-November down in Nakamixon. There's actually a topwater bite, and it's usually the last hour of daylight, last hour and a half. When the lake settles down, you'll see the alewives dimpling, and if you can find a rocky area or a ridge with weeds on it, I'm not going to give some of these spots away on Nakamixon, but I have some spots that are very consistent with this, and you throw this bait along there and just wake it on the surface. That last hour, hour and a half, you can catch some of the biggest largemouths of the year that way. I've caught some really beautiful largemouths doing that from boat and from shore. So that's another way you can fish this bait. It's a little different. It's a niche time and way to fish it, but it does catch some big bass that way. Well, that's my data dump on the redfin. I also put, sometimes I'll put, these are just decals. I'll put these eyes on them too. I just think that makes them look a little more natural. Just put an eye there. So I just glue a decal on so it stays on better. That's my data. Oh, and one other thing. The Ripplin redfin comes, ouch, I just hooked myself. I'll hook the herring. Ow. Very subtle. Actually, I don't know if you can hear that. There's a rattle in there. Like I said, I don't like rattles. No rattle in this one. And that's because I drilled a hole in the top of it and got the rattles out. It's really easy to do with the Ripplin redfin. So if you don't want the rattles, you just drill a hole right above middle, the first hump, right in the middle of the first ripple. You drill that hole in there. You can get them. You can get them out, and then you can just fill the hole, glue it over, paint it if you want, and then you've got a silent one. So another quick trick with the Ripplin Redfin that might help you catch a couple more fish. Well, I hope you like this video. I love the Redfin. It's a great striper lure. I always have them on board when I'm fishing at night. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, if you got something out of this, give me the thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. When you do, ring that bell. That'll give you a notification when the next video is coming out. We're certified Bassified. We're certified Striperified as well. We're all about the art and science of fishing, especially bass fishing. I love doing the videos. I hope you're enjoying them. Looking forward to getting on the water. It's starting to warm up now. We had a real cold weekend. Saturday we had crazy snow and 50-mile-an-hour winds, but this week now it's supposed to warm up. Water's going to get warmer. Fish are going to start coming up. Should start getting good real soon. Looking forward to getting out there. Hope to see you out there. And as always, may God bless your fishing endeavors.